Don and Eric are going to be running the company. They are going to be running it in a very professional manner. They're not going to discuss it with me.
He is not exploiting the office of the presidency for his personal benefit.
That was Donald Trump and his lawyer way back in 2017, declaring that he'd never exploit the office of the presidency for his own financial gain. Well, we know how that promise played out. For years, Trump has hawked merchandise with his own name as a brand.
When it comes to great stakes, I've just raised the stakes.
My new game is Trump, the game.
The God Bless the USA Bible. At Trump University, we teach success. That's what it's all about.
That's the real deal. That's the real deal.
Today, we're here to introduce Trump Mobile.
We are announcing the launch of Trump Coins, a true symbol of American greatness.
America, we've essentially elected a QVC person to the White House. Trump has been leveraging his political power for personal gain and with an unprecedented push on crypto, media, and foreign deals. The New Yorker tallying up all of the profit Trump is estimated to have made since his time in office, and it is staggering. $3.4 billion across his 2 terms. Here to break it all down with me is David K. Johnston, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist, author of numerous books on Trump, including The Big Cheat, How Donald Trump Fleeced America and Enriched Himself and His Family. David, I am always happy to talk to you because you're the only person who seems to look at these things with the level of cynicism that I often do. I just want to start with this. Just give us the scope of this. Give us the scope of the graph that we're dealing with. Lots of presidents may have had a brother or a cousin or a son make money off their name. But we've never actually seen a president personally enrich themselves, even Dick Cheney with BlackRock. We've never seen a president do what Trump is doing now, right?
Nothing in a million miles. I remember Jimmy Carter sold his peanut warehouse so that people wouldn't think he was doing something corrupt, a 2-bit business. Right. Donald Trump has, through most of his career, claimed fantastic wealth he never had. Back in 1990, I revealed that his net worth wasn't anywhere near what it was because I got a hold of his net worth statement, and his bankers valued his net worth at negative 300 million plus, which means you and I were richer than Donald Trump. But now, I think this New Yorker article by David Kirkpatrick, who I worked with at the New York Times, is spot on. It's very well done. It's understandable. You don't have to know finance to get it. And you'll see how the grift, particularly with these crypto and meme coins, that's where people take real money to buy fake money, are making Trump a multi-billionaire. And he's just getting started.
David, I want to put out here all the different kind of products that Trump is hawking. He's got sneakers, he's got watches, he's got a gold phone. I mean, again, he's some sort of combination between CVS and Walmart and Target, and he's in the White House. Here's the other question that I have. I guess if I was attempting to defend any of this graft and this grift, I could say, well, maybe he's putting people to work. But most of these companies, a lot of them, they produce their products abroad. He's not even putting Americans to work with this grift, is he?
I should have gotten my MAGA hat, which says made in Bangladesh. No, there's no connection between honesty and truth and Donald, except occasionally and accidentally, and that applies to many of the people around him. But Donald's also brazenly violating the emoluments clause here. The President of the United States is not to receive any money from foreign governments or powers, or even from the states. And city and counties are creatures of each state government. Right. And yet, as in the first term, he's reeling in money from these sources. Now, the problem is we've discovered that the courts take the position that it's an unenforceable section of the Constitution. The people who tried to bring litigation were told you have no standing. And standing is the right to bring a suit. So Donald is going to continue running what, in my view, is the most powerful and profitable extortion racket in the history of the world.
Right.
And this goes with what I've said about Donald many times. He is the third generation head of a 4-generation white-collar crime family. And the Trumps are not the only white-collar crime family. These people don't kill you. They don't break legs. They don't bomb your business. They cheat with abuse of power, refusing to pay you, something Trump is notorious for, and other things done with the pen and the help of corrupt lawyers.
You know, Sarah Kendzior often talks about how he's part of sort of a transnational crime syndicate, and you have all of this money sort of flowing from these different kinds of families all over the country, all over the world. David, I want to jump ahead a bit. I'm not one of those people that traffics in, well, what do we do after Trump? Because I think that the corrosion that allowed him to get into office is going to continue. But what my concern is, whether he would get reelected again or some other Republican follows him, what's the long-term damage to this kind of corruption on the American system? What's possible now that we didn't think was possible under Obama, under Clinton, that now any president, if they feel so morally or immorally inclined, thinks they can get away with?
You know, the Constitution talks about, and I teach my students at Rochester Institute of Technology, about being a position of trust and honor. Well, Donald has no honor. He never has had any honor, and he certainly is not one to be trusted. So what we've done is opened up a future in which we will all be poorer and we'll be worse off. If you can't trust the government statistics and you're a business owner, you can't plan for what you're going to invest or not invest, what you're going to agree to in contracts and the like. If the president of the United States is making deals based on what will enrich himself or his family or his cronies, then you're not going to have the trust in the system. The U.S. stock market has superior returns to Europe and Japan and other places because we got the rules better, not perfect, but better than anybody else in terms of accounting and accountability. Donald doesn't want to be doesn't want any accountability. And if we get through this, and I don't think it's certain that we will, if Donald, who has declared himself dictator back on February 26th, and who I believe is our dictator, he's just consolidating power. If he eventually leaves office without a designated second dictator, then we will, I think, Jason, have to, and as a political scientist, I'm sure you know, go into the Constitution and amend it to deal with the provisions that have proven to be unenforceable, the provisions that don't designate accountability, like in the 14th Amendment, and create a new and better Constitution, a more perfect union.
Right. To avoid these kinds of shakedowns ever happening again. David K. Johnston, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on The Beat.
Thank you.